And what's going on, everyone? So welcome to the live stream. Yeah, elephant in the room. I'm just gonna address right off the bat. We had a very serious quarantine haircut accident today. Basically what happened was I actually just like shaved off a big portion of my hair because I thought my guide was still on and it wasn't. So we made the executive decision just to make it all the same length, and this is what the result is. So I apologize if I look like a naked mole rat right now, but this is kind of what we have to live with for a little while. Just because we wanted the hair to grow back the same way, so this is kind of what we got here for now. It's a little shocking, but we'll power through it. If you guys are new to the live stream, make sure you leave a comment down in the chat box there. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. So let's get this going. I do have some things planned for us tonight to kind of go through as we're kind of going through this live stream, but yeah, we'll just see how it goes as we're kind of moving forward. If you guys have questions, I'll answer those, and then if we have anything going on otherwise, then we'll just, if we don't have anything else going on otherwise, then we'll just jump right in. But yeah, the hair is extremely impressive tonight. So on point with that, obviously. So how is everyone doing? I hope you guys are having a good part of your week. I hope you guys are having a happy hump day. As you can see, I'm having a very glorious hump day, but hey, we're gonna own it. It's just hair, right? So we'll power through it. So I do have some things planned for us today. We did actually have a video release on the YouTube channel today, going over line of sight in Roll20. So I will go over a little bit of that here on the live stream as well, just so you guys can get a good kind of synopsis of that. And anyone new coming in, I lost the battle with the Clippers today, so that's why the hair is like this. So don't be alarmed. But we're gonna actually jump into Roll20 and do some line of sight stuff, some dynamic lighting. If you guys have questions, though, make sure you throw them in the chat so that way I can look at them. I have two screens now, so I can kind of look back and forth, and I can monitor the chat here, so I won't lose you guys. I'll be able to monitor you guys at all times, being able to take care of that kind of stuff. So throw it in there. I'll be sure to answer it. And if there are any questions, I'm going to just actually start the lesson, but if you do have questions, I'll pause here and there and I'll answer them and stuff like that. But we're going to jump into Roll20 right now, just so we can have something to start with. So you might remember, once I get over there, I'm going to let Roll20 load before we do this. So, and then we'll switch over there. So we're in Roll20's capture here. So I've already this is the setup from the video earlier today, but I'll show you guys kind of roughly how I set this up. So we're going to go into, I'm going to delete the dynamic lighting layer that I have here right now, just so I can give you guys a good representation. So in order to turn on dynamic lighting in Roll20, what you have to do is you have to go to the settings page of your particular map file or whatever you're using. You're going to come over to this dynamic lighting page over here on the right, and then you're going to scroll down here and you're going to turn dynamic lighting on. You can turn Explorer mode on if you want for players to be able to see everything that they've seen already on the map. It'll gray it out when they're not there. Typically, but like as I said, right now we're just going to kind of go over dynamic lighting for right now, and then we're going to click OK. And then in addition to turning on dynamic lighting for the map layer, you're going to want to turn it on for the token layer too. So the way we do that is that we actually come into this token over here after I switch to the token layer. And when I go into the settings, I've already turned it on for her, but if you come into dynamic lighting, I've given her vision, so we're going to want to turn vision on. And then depending on if she's holding a light source or something like that, right now I have her as holding a light source. I'm actually going to change that and just say she has dark vision out to 30 feet. So we'll just have that in there and we'll save those changes. So now she has complete vision of everything within 30 feet of her. Now, in order to make this work, though, we're going to have to give her an object to kind of battle through. So we've got a square here that's just going to represent a general wall, but we're going to make this square into an actual wall here by going into dynamic lighting. So what I typically like to do once I'm in dynamic lighting is I like to draw shapes for my walls because those are the easiest for me to kind of utilize because you can make nice perfect straight lines as best you can, whereas the polygon / line tool is a little bit more kind of tricky and you have to be kind of more steadier on your mouse. For walls, I like to go just a little bit inside so that way the player characters can still see that there's a wall there, so it doesn't turn into blackness when they actually get close to it. They can actually see that there's a wall there, so it gives some depth to your map. And then as a result, because I am on the GM layer, I can see it from, like, I can still see the map, but from what the player character can see is what is in that white circle. So if we look at Scout here, once I go back on the token layer, she can't see beyond this box because we created that little wall inside. So as she kind of goes around, the line of sight that she has kind of goes with her. As you can kind of see as we're kind of coming around the bend here. As soon as we cross into this box, though, the line of sight's going to change. It's going to register that the token's on the other side of the line, and it's going to make the line of sight tool work in reverse. So what's going to happen is that now the lines that we made inside this box are working in the opposite direction. So now she can see everything in this place when she moves back and forth, but she can't see anything beyond it. So that's generally how dynamic lighting works. Now I'm going to go to another page so that we can see it in a practical application. Once it loads up, Roll20 is always often fairly slow every once in a while. So there we go. Especially when we're later at night and stuff like that, the server gets bogged down a little bit, but looks like we got in here. So right here, I've got line of sight on, and I actually turned this door off just so that way she can see through it. But as you see, as I walk around here, Scout can actually, her visual range here changes as she kind of walks through. Now, if I go into an area that I haven't done, the map's going to open up for her so she can see everything. And right now, I believe she is actually emitting light. More just so that way I can have... Yeah, she's emitting light, just so she can have... Actually, I don't know why it's only saying 27, but it should say 30. So she's emitting light. Bright light for 30 feet and then dim light for 60 feet. So anything beyond her field of vision, she's not going to be able to see. But like as you can see here, once we get to a place where you don't have dynamic lighting actually happening, everything opens up for her. So we're going to have to change that. So we're going to go back into the dynamic lighting layer. I'm going to draw some shapes so I can make shapes for my walls. And as you can see, as I've gone around here, I've kind of overlapped a lot of them, and that's on purpose because I don't want to make sure, I want to make sure there's no gaps so she doesn't actually see through a little crease in my shapes. So we're going to make a square here, staying just within the line so that way she can still see on the map, on her layer, that there's a wall there. Same here. I'm getting a little closer than I normally would like to be, but that's okay. Another one. Another one. Another one here. We'll just go around the horn here really quick and just make some boxes. Just so that way she can't see, even if we go down this corridor. And I like to overlap my boxes, especially in cases where we have turns around the bend and stuff like that, just to make our lives a little bit easier so we don't have to worry about that so much. And we'll make another one here. Doesn't have to be exact, because at the end of the day, we're hoping... Oh, that's nice. There's a new driver. Of course there's a new driver right now. Thanks, GeForce. So we'll deal with that another time. And then for the doors, you can see that I've got these places, but you can still see through the door. So what we're going to do is then we're going to actually take the line tool. I'm actually going to come beyond my little box here. I'm going to put a dot, and then I'm going to click again. It's going to make a line, and it's relatively straight. I'm going to hit escape, and then it's going to block that off as a door. It's going to end my little line that I'm making, and it's going to create a segment here. Same thing here. Hit escape. Creates another segment. Line, line. Hit escape. Line, line. Hit escape. Line, line. Hit escape. Line, line. Hit escape. And then I need one more over here. So they're pretty crude, but that's okay. We're just kind of showing the representation of that there's actually doors there. And then if we go back to our token layer here, you can see that I have monsters on there, but obviously I'm not worried about that right now. But as we kind of move her around the map, she can only see anything in this hallway now as a result of kind of putting those line of sight options in there. And she can still kind of see the walls that exist on the map as well as she kind of goes around. Anything that's actually illuminated is what she can see. So if we wanted to, like say how over here, if we wanted to open a door later, we could actually take our line segment out. So say if I want her to be able to see through there, we're going to go back in the dynamic lighting tool. So say if you're playing your game, your player characters actually open this door, you can just delete the door, and then now she can have line of sight into both rooms like that. So easy enough. So that's basically just how dynamic lighting works in Roll20. It's actually pretty simple, believe it or not. And I like how it's kind of flexible in that way. What is going on here? There we go. Okay, it was just being weird because it didn't understand that I was switching tools. There we go. Because I will be using this map in my game, so I do kind of want to bias it a little bit. And then we're going to go back, token layer, and we're going to move her out of here just so that way we're not showing off anything that we don't want to later on. So that's basically it. That is how you do That is how you do dynamic lighting in Roll20. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you throw something in the chat on either this topic or anything else, Dungeons & Dragons, whatever the case may be. Throw something in the chat. I'll be happy to answer it. Otherwise, we're just going to hang out for a little while, and then eventually we will shut down the YouTube stream and jump over to Twitch, because I want to make sure that we're bringing a little good amount of value to the people that are watching on YouTube before I switch over, because Twitch is much more of a hangout space where we kind of can be a little bit more casual, and I don't want that to spill in too much into the YouTube side of things, because I want to make sure that if you're coming to us on YouTube, you're getting a really good, solid resource of information. And then otherwise, if you just kind of want to chat and chit-chat, then we'll be over on Twitch. But either way, I'm still going to answer questions. So make sure you throw some questions in the chat as we're kind of going through. In fact, I'm going to come back over here. So again, lost a battle with hair clippers today. And not on purpose, believe it or not. I don't know if there's people out there that are doing bad haircuts during quarantine on purpose, but I forgot that I took my guide off of my clippers when I was doing another little edge here to kind of even this out, and it ended up shaving off like almost half of this like part of my head. So there was nowhere to go but to go the rest of the way. So yeah, that's what happened with that today. Ugh. How's everyone doing on their Wednesday? I know it's middle of the week, hump day. I know some people are kind of starting to go back to work, I think. So it's kind of a weird time, obviously, with everything going on in the world. But yeah, it's weird. In the meantime, though, if you guys are just hanging out, what is your favorite NPC or player character that you've played in any of your games? Whether you're a DM or a player character, what's your favorite character you've ever had to... Which is your favorite character you've played as either role? I've talked about this a couple of times on stream, but my favorite has always been the... I played a Nilbog NPC with my players, which was a lot of fun because they couldn't figure out what the heck was going on with him. And if you don't know what a Nilbog is goblin spelled backwards. And basically they're magically attuned goblins who have this kind of spirit in them that kind of jumps between goblins, and it's kind of a trickster, kind of messing up all the goblin kind of... activity on purpose, like kind of almost being like a mole inside Goblin Society. And I had a lot of fun with him because I gave him a New York style accent. The player characters didn't really know what to do with him. It was actually really funny kind of playing around with him because he was just kind of like a very weird anti-goblin kind of goblin. And then as a player character, my favorite one that I've played so far, I played a couple of artificers. My favorite one that I have, I want to say, is actually my most recent one. I'm playing a kobold artificer with a guard drake companion, steel defender. So I'm basically riding around on a guard drake, throwing a spear of returning that just comes back to me, and I just keep throwing it around and giving myself advantage by either getting into the fight or my player characters, my fellow comrades are next to whatever we're fighting. So basically, I always get advantage on every attack. It's great. I love it. It's a lot of fun. I'm actually curious to, so if you guys don't know, Foundry Virtual Tabletop actually came out recently, and I'm very interested to see what they have to bring to the table as far as the virtual tabletop playing space. It seems like a very interesting piece of software. I'm excited to see and kind of get my hands on it and kind of play around with it. I am planning on doing a review on this channel on the YouTube side of things later on this week, maybe. Possibly for Saturday, and then also doing some tutorials for people who have never utilized it before. But I'm very interested to see how it goes because I'm very much for more kind of virtual tabletop companies entering the space because I mean I love Fantasy Grounds and Roll20, but like it's always just been you have two choices really: Fantasy Grounds or Roll20. Astral Tabletop was there for a while, but then I think they, if my memory serves correct, they actually got rid of the Dungeons & Dragons 5e compatibility for some reason, or at least the last time I went on their website, it didn't seem like they had. Yeah, they have Call of Cthulhu, Vampire the Masquerade, Scarred Lands, Shadow over Demon Lord, Exalted, Forbidden Lands, and Fantasy Age. And that's it. I don't know why, unless there was like some sort of brand deal that fell through or something like that, they lost theirs. And and I actually want to check them out, but unfortunately they don't. I'm a D&D DM primarily, so I'd rather use something that I'm actually going to use. So I can't use them. So I'm interested to see what Boundary Virtual Tabletop brings to the table, just because I think competition in this space is a good thing. Because if there's always just going to be the big two, it's not going to be anything. It's just going to stagnate. If it's just going to be like there's always going to be one group of people that are always going to want to be in Roll20, and there's always going to be one group that's always going to want to be in Fantasy Grounds. So the fact that, like, I mean, with that said, Fantasy Grounds Unity is coming out and it's still in beta, and they're doing a lot of great things, and like I like what they're doing. But it's nice to have like a third horse in the race, just so that way it kind of pushes the other two to continue to kind of push the envelope, and hopefully it means that all three platforms become elevated as a result. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Throw them in the chat. I'd be more than happy to answer them. And if you are just joining us, I lost a battle with some hair clippers earlier today, and that's why the hair is like this. So just gonna own it. I made a boo-boo, and I messed myself up. So life goes on, right? There are bigger things to worry about in the world, for sure, other than hair. All right. Am thinking about course. I always forget every single stream. I gotta put my phone on silent so that way you guys don't hear the beeps. Yeah, I do like Unity. Unity is amazing. I have actually enjoyed my time with it, playing around with it for sure. The functionality of like the line of sight tools and some of the effects that you can that are actually already inherent within the map making tools is really cool. So you can make like ships that are sailing on the ocean and stuff like that, which is really fun. You can do things like that, which like under normal circumstances you'd have to do something different. What's going on here? Something's overloaded. Do I have too many things open? Is that what's going on here? Oh, there goes my second TV. Oh, there he goes. I do find that like the functionality of it is really nice, and the fact that like you can do some of these cool advanced features without having to like necessarily know how to like code animations and stuff like that and bring them in. Like you can actually just like kind of already have it in the software, which is really nice. It's very user friendly from that standpoint. And then not only that, like the compendium kind of setup within Fantasy Grounds I actually like a lot, because it's searchable, but which Roll20s is as well. But I don't know, I just like the way that it's set up and it kind of flows, and like the kind of flexibility of you can roll for all of your initiatives as the DM for all your monsters all at once. You don't have to do it one at a time if you have like, I mean, granted, you're paying for the software to an extent. You're not, unless you're just playing a demo, but one-time fee, it just works out better. Yeah, better price modules, better functions. Yeah, everything that you're saying, alignment unknown, like all of that. It's great. Not dropping any frames. Okay. My computer is just very sensitive. Let's see here. I'm just checking to see. Yeah, everything's going fine. We're good. All right. So seeing that as it is. But yeah, I agree. Fantasy Grounds Unity is just, it's again like the fact that it's a one-time fee and not a subscription, because, and the one thing I don't like, the one critique I have for Roll20, and maybe it's just because it is an online interface and maybe that's the reason why it is the way it is, the fact that some of like the advanced kind of like macros, I guess you would call them, like the ability to kind of mass roll for things on Roll20, you can do it, but it's a lot harder, and it won't automatically populate within like your initiative rolling table and stuff like that. So that kind of is like frustrating to me that like they didn't include that as part of their, like you have to go to the pro account to get the custom APIs and stuff like that, and like get really into the nitty gritty of coding them out and stuff like that. Whereas Fantasy Grounds already has it inside of the software, and I don't have to pay $50 a year in perpetuity in order to be able to use it. I can just pay 135, I think, right now. Let's actually check that right now, because I think it is that way. Don't get me wrong, I still like Roll20. I still use it. Because my player characters need it. Oh, thanks for stopping a sign-in attempt. Somebody using my password, Google. Store. No, I don't want bundles. Shoot. The one thing I did not want. I think right now it's still get Fantasy Grounds Unity. It's in early access still, which means it's still kind of pseudo in beta. Yeah, they're still giving it to you for 134 for the DM, if that's the way you want to do it. That's the way I see it, is that if you're a content creator or a dungeon master, you're paying for that 135 one-time fee, so that way you can just have all your stuff, and then also, like, if you're going to run games for people and stuff like that, and be like a pro DM, I guess, you have that ability to kind of share everything and stuff like that, have all those data libraries and rule sets and stuff like that without having to, like, require a purchase by everybody else, especially if you're a pro DM and stuff. Drag and drop maps is the only thing I miss about Roll20. I mean, yeah. I would still say that the maps are still relatively drag and drop. Like, I don't have any issues with that on my end from that perspective. In fact, I mean, it kind of is to an extent. I'm actually going to open up Fantasy Grounds here in a second. You can still kind of drag and drop maps. It's just that it's a little bit trickier. It's not like you're uploading a PNG. You have to actually have the map file and put it in a folder and then bring it. So it's a little bit different, for sure. But I would still say that, like, it's, you know, once you have the assets, it kind of still is, to an extent, drag and drop. And don't get me wrong, Roll20 has its place. Like, my player characters, that's perfect for them, because normally they would be playing in person. Right now we're just playing online because we have to, so utilizing the free version of Roll20 works for us. And the fact that we have that ability to kind of, like, jump in right away and be able to utilize it, it's great. It works out for us. But for others, like, if you're going to be playing online on a regular basis, like if you're a content creator or somebody who, like, runs professional games online and stuff like that, that's where it gets a little bit trickier. And I mean, I've had some debates back and forth a little bit on, like, which is more intuitive, which is more user-friendly, and I think that's kind of a wash. They kind of both, once you're used to one of the systems, you can pretty much pick up the other one not too bad. Yeah, the haircut's not on purpose. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, alignment unknown, that's true. You do have to kind of have that second step in order to be able to bring it in, which is kind of annoying if you're, like, kind of doing that on the fly. I agree. Next. Modules. What do I want to load in? Yeah, the haircut was by accident, unfortunately. The haircut was a result of a battle with some hair clippers that I unfortunately lost. Basically what happened was that I tried to, like, kind of do a little bit of a trim here. And I forgot that I took my guide off because I thought I was done cutting, and then I realized that I missed a spot and I forgot to put the guide back on. I just basically shaved off a chunk. And then there was no turning back from there, so that's kind of what happened there. And then, yeah, I can see what you mean at alignment unknown. Like, you have that second monitor, the ability to kind of drag and drop everything over is really nice. I'm gonna come back here. That ability to kind of drag and drop everything over just makes things a lot more simpler. The one problem, come on, what I want you to do. Unity is, there we go, finally. Okay, good. And then, yeah, I want to do that. And load in. There should be maps in there, so all that good. And then we will go over to Fantasy Grounds here in a second. 1 second. Just want to see if we have a good map that I want to grab. My camera's doing a lot of great things tonight, it appears. This is what happens when you use your what happens when you use your cell phone as your as your camera. I don't think I want any of these ones. These ones. Oh, there we go. That actually works out perfectly for me. Let's use that one. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. I'm really trying to be a bit of a fresh kind of take on it. And not only that, like I'm trying to hopefully develop a small little community that can kind of help each other out. I really should make a Discord, honestly, for that too, just so I can help people in the moment. The big thing that I'm trying to do is just basically bring more people into the hobby, because it's not that scary. And it's really quite simple. Like, I've run games for hockey players before. Oh, I just closed out Fantasy Grounds. Crap. I also wish the tutorials were different than 5e. Some are, but 95% of tutorials are hardly any for Pathfinder 2 or Deadlands. Yeah, I know what you mean, Alignment. Unfortunately, like, I wish I could be the person to do the Pathfinder 2nd edition ones, but I'm one of those people that kind of got into the hobby when it got hot. So Dungeons and Dragons has kind of been the entry level for me, and so I've kind of I'm in that kind of D&D kind of mode. I do actually like Pathfinder 2nd edition because it's very crunchy, very grainy, and I like that's the best way I can describe it, because there's so many good choices as a player character to kind of pick and choose how you progress within your particular skill tree and your different class tree, because you can take so many different feats and stuff like that and really make and morph a character to actually be the way you want the character to be. Whereas, like, obviously Dungeons and Dragons, like, you pick your class, your race, you might be able to pick some feats along the way, and you pick your subclass, and then after that it pretty much kind of other than like some flavor stuff, the freedom to kind of take on some more stuff is a little bit tough. D&D was always cool. We just didn't know it was cool. Everyone was just afraid that like it was something that like satanic followers were doing, and they thought it was like some taboo thing, but it was always cool. I do like Pathfinder though. Like, I actually, I'm a little familiar with the first edition rule set for Pathfinder, just because I played, I did play a lot of Kingmaker. So that was a lot of fun. And I kind of learned a little bit of the Pathfinder system, but obviously with second edition it's a little bit different. Yeah, 5e is easy to learn. That's kind of the big thing, and that's part of the reason why I'm trying to alignment. I agree. You're right. It's much easier now. Play Starfinder. I haven't actually played 5e. Picked up the core rule books on D&D Beyond. Just love the character builder. Pathfinder 2 is awesome, but a greater barrier. Yeah, and it's a greater barrier to entry. And that's kind of the thing too. Is that like I'm trying. I mean, I love D&D too, because it is kind of easy to enter, and I'm trying to also cut my teeth on kind of storytelling and stuff like that, and really get used to kind of like developing good narratives and stuff like that, while also, like, you know, the players are also going to dictate a lot of the narrative too, so that's kind of like how it's going to work. But what was I doing? I was going to do something on the main screen here, but now I can't remember what I was doing. Starfinder fun? Yeah, the more people that enter the hobby, the happier the better everything is, because the more people that are playing, the more people that will eventually enter some of these. If they want to enter these more complex games, they can. If they want to stay within that D&D system because it is so palpable, then that's great too. But the benefits that like tabletop role-playing games can have on a lot of people is just amazing, especially for mental health, emotional health, and stuff like that. Like the ability to kind of like, especially for some kids that like have some social disabilities and stuff like that, having that ability to kind of experiment in a safe place is really great. Dungeon Crawl Classics is easy and fun. Spells especially, maybe your wife would like. Hey, alignment unknown, you kind of know this already. Oh, why isn't it showing up? That's really weird. Okay. Oh, it thinks my Fantasy Grounds is my Syrinscape. That's great. Alright, so we're going to lose music for a second. There we go. Got all of that. Hold on. Yeah, I'm hoping that like the more we can get people into the hobby, the more of us can like kind of take over the world a little bit. Kind of take over the world a little bit and get everybody on the same page as us, because tabletop role playing is so much fun. And it just has so many good benefits. Like helped me a lot in my life for sure, and it's given me something stable. So, huh? Dungeon Crawl Classics. You convert to 5e. Knowledge. My brother used to make fun of me so much, and I was just like, "Play only one game, just nothing special. Kobolds robbing a farm type of thing." And he was hooked for life. It's all about bringing people in. As soon as you bring people in, it's amazing. Oh yeah, that was bringing up the music. I'll have the music back here in a second, everyone. Thank you, Yube Time and friends, for subscribing to the YouTube channel. I am catching all of those as they come through. Turn off that. Okay, I think we got everything fixed over here, guys. So now I should be able to come over. Yeah, there we go. Of course, my face is in the way at all times. I need to actually make a better setup for all this so you guys can see better. You're right, Alignment Unknown. Like, the only thing about Fantasy Grounds is that, well, also for Unity right now, it's also the spinning wheel of death that you often get because it's still not completely optimized. And you have to update it every week, but it is getting better. The nice thing is you can still kind of drag and drop them in. I'm actually going to bring it down to a much more manageable window so I can actually see what I'm doing. And also line of sight's just wicked easier in Fantasy Grounds for sure. Actually, I'm curious if this already has line of sight already in it. No, it doesn't. That's okay. I can fix that. I do not currently have an Ultimate license yet. I'm working on it. I got some of the modules and stuff like that, but I don't actually have a license yet, unfortunately. I want one really bad. I would love an Ultimate license. And I think eventually I will. I think eventually I'm gonna pony up. It's just one of those things where right now I'm not utilizing it right now because my players are playing on Roll20 in the free version. And so that's kind of like where we're kind of spending most of our energy and effort on. Once we get to the point, or once I get to the point where I can like kind of utilize a lot of this stuff to kind of sustain some of those things and like kind of purchase those kinds of assets and stuff like that, or licenses, I'm gonna do that. But we will actually, I will be going over Foundry Virtual Tabletop this week. Later on this week, I did get access to their stuff, and so I'm hoping that I can kind of bring some light to this other big name that's kind of, or small name in the big pond that's kind of coming in. Yeah, 12 players is nuts. I mean, I've got 7 in one game. I got 7 in a campaign, but yeah, 12 players in a one-shot is kind of nuts. I'm sure combat was minimalized to an extent, because if you're playing with a lot of combat, or if you have like one combat can take an entire hour, if you have, even if just because everyone doesn't know what they're doing on their turn. Yeah, I'm planning on hopefully trying to get it in November. That'd be the best time to do it, I think. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Foundry's like. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, you gotta kind of manage and reel the party in a little bit. Why is my camera just so terrible today? And I can tell my camera's probably going crazy on the stream, so. Shouldn't be doing anything this crazy. I don't know why it's like having this issue. Lagging again, like. Could also just be my monitor on the one that I'm monitoring on is just not keeping up with it because it is an old TV, but. Looks like I'm doing okay on the stream though, so. I was gonna say, it's a good thing you did split it up because like having 12 players would be nuts. But 2 good parties of 6 players is actually really nice. I like that. That's actually really smart. I run a game right now where I have 7 players, which is what the Dragonmore campaign that you guys see on my if you've ever watched the stream or any of the videos that you've seen on the channel. Like this right here. This is the campaign I run for my friends, and I've got 7 player characters, and it's already nuts. Okay. Alright, thanks, Matt. I appreciate the feedback. That just... I don't know why it's going nuts. It just seems like I'm getting stuck every once in a while, and I don't know why it is. That's one of the first upgrades, is getting an actual webcam at some point. A legit one, not like these crappy ones that are going on YouTube or on Amazon for 20 bucks right now. I don't trust it. That's always nice too. Like having that ability to kind of see how both parties kind of play off of the same kind of material, and like one oftentimes will go in a completely different direction than the other one. That's always fun to kind of play with. I actually ran a game for my hockey players that I actually then eventually ran in my Dragonmore campaign in the beginning. And ironically, the hockey players were much more focused on like doing tasks and like being like, well, we have to do this, we have to do this, we have to be heroic, we have to go and do this, we got to save this town. Where my player characters that I have now are kind of like, and they are a little bit more veteran, savvier players, but they're kind of just like all over the place. It's very much a Monty Python style kind of game. At times it feels like, but then my hockey players were very focused on like trying to like hit objectives and like get to the end. And I don't know if it's just the way that they thought, but yeah, just the way it goes. Yeah. No, that's true, Matt. It's the best thing I have. It is the... It's worth the upgrade, but, you know, yeah, like you said, it'll come in time. It's actually not bad. It's an iPhone, but it's not too bad. So it's doing what it needs to do for now until we can get an upgrade. And I'm sure the software that converts the line in and all that kind of stuff isn't the, like, perfect, you know, keyed in kind of software either. It's a third-party software from some weird third-party developer that I'm sure is not the most optimized thing in the world either. Nope. Yeah, I want to know, Alignment Unknown. Did they achieve the same result or not? I think we're actually going to go... I remember what I was doing last time. Hi, GMV. I got in a fight with some Clippers. I lost. Oh, not too much. Clippers are a weed whacker. At this point, I might as well have been a weed whacker. I was trying to take down... I had kind of cut everything the way I wanted it to, and I took the guide off because I was going to have my wife do the trimming around the ears. And then I saw that there was a little bit on this line here, on like the, you know, kind of like on this area here where it kind of always kind of stays long. So I was just going to touch it up, but I forgot to put the guide back on, so I just sheared like an entire front of my face off. And so there was no turning back. Yeah, Whoops is right. But yeah, Alignment Unknown, that's sometimes is how it goes. My regular group, I think, took the 4 hours, while my hockey players took like the 2.5 hours when I was playing that game. So it's kind of funny how that ended up working out. Yeah, everyone is. Yeah, I was pretty long. I had pretty long hair before this. It was getting a little bit ridiculous to an extent, so then I was just like, all right, we're going to cut it, and then just based on the fact that I had the wrong guide on. Yeah. And hey, the way I figure, if this is the worst thing that's going to happen to me during all this, then I'll take it. There are worse things going on in the world right now than for me to have to work, like, be too up in arms about my hair, right? I'm trying to think. Did I make map? Oh, I was in the process of making this map. Yeah, I flipped the map. Okay. It definitely beats being out of ventilator, that's for damn sure. You're right. I can't imagine for the people that have to go through all that. It's like bananas. I don't have dynamic lighting on, do I? No. And I don't have Fog of War on. Okay. It just looks dark. Probably because of the map I made. Did I put... Shaved head and the COVID beard. Oh, I put a Sahagin on here already. Okay. GM. Gonna roll for some stats and do a bunch of shenanigans. Have I read The Monsters Know What They're Doing yet? I have not. I probably should. I've never even heard of that book, actually, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to look it up now, and then we'll see what I find. Okay. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I can't. Oh, it's because this thing keeps signing into my wife's stuff. There we go. I mean, I'd probably get the book anyway, honestly, but... Oh, that's cool. I already love this. This is actually, I'm already excited about this. Pigeons. Cranium wraps, conjured creatures, rot grubs, sturge. Yeah, I already love this. Typically just have to go to the monsters to go toe-to-toe with the PCs and lead to some boring combats. Yeah. Well, especially like everyone loves throwing like kobolds and goblins at their first like adventuring party, but like sometimes you can take kobolds and goblins and be like, you try to go after them in their like kind of in their like hideout or whatever like that. Chances are you're gonna run into like 700 different traps on your way in. So good luck. Holders. I like this a lot, actually. This is actually really cool. I've heard of Tucker's kobolds. Oh, they actually have it in the D&D Wizards website already. Oh, because was it in a Oh, this is just a story about it. I think that must have been from the article. Try to find it. Oh, this is from the dragon episode again. The dragon I think this is the different. Well, for obvious reasons, they should hate them. That's awesome. Where can I? Do they have a Tucker's Kobolds like place to get it from, or is it like in a? Is it in a book right now? Oh, it's just a story of them. Oh, so it's probably just this article here. Yeah, I love the idea of like the monsters having personalities for sure. Sometimes it's just certain situations they're not going to, but depending on the situation, um, like with my players the other day, we had 6 Yetis kind of wandering around looking for food. They ended up finding the party, but is this searchable? This was searchable. This would be fucking, or excuse me. This was searchable with the bananas. Yeah, that's true. I could always get the book. This is great. Oh yeah, because I did see like how to survive the tail from like up here. Live to tell a tale. Combat tactics for PCs. A Fisher, Shadow Mastiff Pigeon. Astral Dreadnought. Ah, Yeti Tactics. This probably could have helped. Yeah, I like this. This is actually really cool. Yeah, paralyzed characters are, yeah. My characters got really lucky. They all like were able to kind of avoid, excuse me, avoid the chilling gaze when we were playing. I'm gonna bookmark this page though. On my, I'm gonna bookmark it on my Chrome because I use my Chrome for most of my other stuff. I like to keep my Firefox clean for just Roll20 and stuff like that. So how's Hump Day treating you, GMV? Whoa! You don't really have to read a whole lot to get it just to dissecting the monster stats to figure out how they would attack it. Nice to have, they don't. Yeah, I agree. I like that a lot. Oh, there is a. This is searchable. Jeez, look at that. Do I know how to spell? Oh, I reversed this part. Hua. S-A-H. U-A-G-I-N. Hey, there it is. Okay, wife's been off work the past couple days and doesn't go back till Saturday. She had 65 hours last week and I started didn't like the overtime. Do they ever? But oftentimes, like, well, depending on what your wife does, I've had some individuals that I used to work with that worked at warehouses, and oftentimes they would be like, well, we need you to work the overtime, and then they would get like accosted for it because of the fact that they worked the overtime by HR. Like the managers would be like, oh, we really need you to work, and then the HR managers would be like, well, why did you work? You were over the overtime. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have some Sahuagin later, so I'm like curious to see what they have. I'm actually using the Sahuagin Warlock, so I'm like curious to see what they have. Oh, and if she's based on commission, then I'm sure a lot of it been suffering a little bit. Although, depending on what she does for work, could be good or not. Not dumb. Usually accompanied by sharks. Oh, wow. That, yeah, there you go. That'll do it. That's awesome. $69,000 in furniture sales? That ain't no slouch. I like a lot of this stuff. Dog in the water are more tenacious than they are on land. When fighting underwater, they'll hang in there until the majority of them are seriously wounded. After that, they'll disengage and retreat on their own, but they'll fight to the death in command of a baron or a priestess, usually in order to defend the location or an object. Priestesses have some cool stuff. Well, I'm going to be having a lot of these Sahuagin warlocks, so that'll be interesting. But they do have that blood frenzy. They do have the shark telepathy. They have the limited amphibiousness. They have some innate spellcasting. They have this multi-attack, and so that'll be a lot of fun to play with for sure. And I probably will give them some sharks to write in on now. Now that I really actually understand what the shark telepathy is for. I do have some shark. I do have some of these guys reskinned and scaled up for something else, but I'll probably actually. Do I have them as base CR3s? I might. Have to check. I think it's no. Yeah, it's this one. Yeah, I just have them as regular CR3s. So these guys are technically Warlocks of Ukatoa, but they're not. Like they are, but they aren't. Yeah, baby shark. Do 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 do. I love it. So we're actually going to shut down the YouTube side of things here in a couple minutes. So make sure you get your questions into the chat here now while you still can. Otherwise, we'll be shutting that down. We'll just be staying on Roll20. So you're more than welcome to jump into Roll20. Link is down in the description of the stream here below. But make sure you jump over there if you want to keep hanging out. Have fun getting that crap out of your head. You're welcome. Oh, I'm not worried about it. I love that song. Let's jump back in here. Let's go back to... What? No, it wasn't into the wilds. Oh, it was, Nope. Nope, nope. It was part of the locations, and they're there. Okay, that's what it was. All right. 0, 5 to 8 Sahagin Warlocks of the Depths plus 8 Sharks. So I am doing some work today in this stream. Oh, I'm going back and forth so much that I'm forgetting to switch things over. Per usual, but at least now I can catch it when I do it, as opposed to before when I couldn't because it was just over the screen. But yeah, we've got these Sahagin Warlocks of the Depths that we're going to play with. And actually, now I do want to go back to the Roll20 side because I'm going to be doing stuff over there. Warlock of the Depths, not of Uk'otoa. I do play them a little different. It just works out really nicely. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Is I need some warlocks that are water-based, and they just happen to be out in this ocean. So we got that. We've got a speed of 30, but a swim speed of 40. So we'll depict that with a 30-40. Got natural armor 14, and then we got a health pool of 5d8. So we'll just roll 5d8. $17. The heck is that garbage number? Not even the median roll. Okay, that's a little more like it. Save that guy. And then we're just going to copy him and paste him a bunch of times. But we're going to roll for the health a couple more times. 23. I'm excited for my next session. I'm actually not even prepping for that session. I'm actually prepping for when they go way further into the future. If I have a severe underroll, I don't like to take it because it's just kind of crappy. Again. Oh, I think I lost my other screen again. First thing I really need is a new HDMI cord. Oh, it's back. Alright, cool. You watched the world building stuff on Twitch this weekend. Good from how did you doing? Oh. I didn't? Oh, am I gonna watch it this weekend? Possibly. If my wife doesn't kill me. I do so much D&D stuff, she kind of is a little stir-crazy now. Not stir-crazy, that's not the right word, but she's like, haven't you done enough? But I'll definitely probably do some more. I'll look at it. Abandoned? Oh, does she feel abandoned? Oh, no. She just feels that it's a lot. What's the best way to put it? She supports everything that I'm doing as far as this is concerned and with this stuff. But because I do 3 streams, I release 3 videos, and I play a game on Saturday, I'm basically spending every single day doing something D&D. So she's kind of like, or something that's really like right now it's technically a hobby because I don't get paid to do this. She's like, that's a lot, isn't it? I'm like, well, yeah, but I can do this for now. But we'll definitely. The trickier part is going to be later on. Once things get back to normal, I'll have to kind of level set some stuff and like. I'm trying to do more things based around a. I'm trying to change the way I schedule things and do things kind of like when she's working, I'll be working. Yeah, eventually if I keep at it, I will get paid. That's the good thing. So like, if I keep trying to do this, so part of it's like that, and then the other part of it is also like I'm trying to. The more I keep at it, the like I'll eventually get paid. In addition to the fact that like. I'm trying to change the way I do my scheduling around like her work schedule. So if she's working, I try to work on my stuff, and then also like I do stuff now. So my wife typically goes to bed around like 8:30, 9 o'clock, which is perfect for the streaming. And then I'll actually work on. I do a lot of my editing and stuff later at night. So I try to do things kind of around that. Obviously, though, sometimes it gets a little bit trickier because people will contact me during the day. Over the course of the day, so I have to kind of like still keep my tabs on my socials and stuff like that and like still have a presence, so it gets a little bit trickier, but it's going well. But with that said, I am going to shut down the YouTube stream right now, but if you guys want to keep checking out some of the stuff and hang out some more, we will be over on Twitch for the rest of the evening, so I'll see you guys over there. And if you haven't, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that cool jazz that all the cool YouTubers say out there in YouTube land. Yeah, I'll either see you over there, or I'll see you in my next video or the next live stream on Friday. So we'll be shutting this down eventually. I just have to get into my stuff. Oh wait, you're already there. Yeah. GMV is always in the in the Twitch stream. That side of it.